Hey everyone, this is Devin here, and welcome to Talking Entertainment. I have on the panel Robert McCrabb right now, and he is going to talk to us about the issues with publishing on Amazon today. So, for any new authors who is thinking about publishing on Amazon, this might be something that you want to watch because he has many years experience, and he can probably teach you a thing or two. And without further ado, Robert, feel free to introduce yourself if you'd like.
Sure. So my name is Robert Benjamin McCrabb, 43 years old, and been writing full-time now for 3 years. And I've got 5 published books and 1 just about to be traditionally published. The other 4 are on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and those online retailers.
Okay. How long have you been writing?
I started writing about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
But full-time for the last 2 years.
All right. So about this publish on Amazon rant you posted in our Elite Critiques group a few days back, it intrigued me because I feel like a lot of authors these days and writers, especially those that are just starting out, don't really understand what they're getting themselves into when they proceed on to publish on Amazon. And you have a lot of years experience like with Amazon, and I feel that our viewers would love to know just some warnings that you might be able to give them as far as publishing on Amazon is concerned. Like, what they need to look out for? What is the problem with Amazon publishing, creative publishing today?
Okay, well, I guess I would start and say that I started maybe a year ago with publishing my books on Amazon, and I was a total novice. I didn't know anything about it. So I watched every YouTube video that you could possibly watch, all the gurus, and I had high hopes. I had high hopes for reaching my audience through Amazon. With the way the publishing industry is going these days, 4 ebooks are sold for every 1 traditionally published hard copy book. So I thought Amazon was a pretty good choice. So I went through the whole process, and I published 4. Now I've got 4 books published on Amazon, and I've done a lot of different things. I've used paid advertising. I've used free advertising. I've probably tried anything and everything that you could do to reach my audience. I've got 5,000 Twitter followers. I'm on LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. I used Facebook Power Editor. That's a paid service. I even made a YouTube video about that, actually. And so I've tried everything, and I've noticed that there are some downfalls or pitfalls with Amazon right now. It's getting saturated, very saturated. And there are people that are authorpreneurs, they're called, and what they will do is publish 100 or 200 books, a book a week, and they'll put out these dime novels. And the quality is relatively poor, in my opinion. They're not edited, and the book that's not edited or even proofread, it's not the highest quality. And an author really can't edit their own works. So basically, Amazon to me is like a big pile of junk with a few gems, and it's really hard to reach your audience that way. You get buried down in the maybe 200 to 5,000 ranking. And, the best I got to was about 28,000, and maybe number 4 in my genres. So it can get a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say that wouldn't the ranking be in the millions though? Because I mean, everybody's publishing, these days on Amazon is to create space, and traditional publishing is sort of like a thing of the past, and it's still the way to go, especially if you want to. I mean, I can't really say take for people to take writing seriously to just traditionally publish, because that used to be the case about 5-10 years ago, where if you self-published or you published online or something, you would lose basically credibility, and you would no longer be taken seriously in the industry. But you can't say that much anymore, because everybody's doing that. Even people who are traditionally published are finding themselves doing that. And the thing is I mean, I don't know if maybe it was a different number, but wouldn't like 28 millions be actually a kind of a good ranking, or was that like what exactly would you have to say about what do you have to say about the ranking system? Like,
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Well, the ranking system is basically the one thing that affects sales.
Yeah,
Nothing else.
exactly.
Reviews, they do help your sales somewhat, but they're like pulling teeth. Nope, hardly anybody leaves reviews.
Oh
I've
yeah.
Yes, it's very hard. But so reviews do affect it a little bit, but the thing that really affects it is the ranking. And I looked into some information, and basically the way it works is that if you're in, say, the 0 to, or like 1 to 100,000 for your book, you're going to sell somewhere between 1 and 3 copies a week. And then it
Hmm.
goes from, yeah, which is slightly surprising, but it's
Yeah,
actually
I
true.
didn't know that.
It bears out in
Wow.
my experience.
Hmm.
When you go over
Okay.
100,000, into the, say, 500,000 range, maybe you'll sell 1 book a month. Honestly, that's the way it really works. And anything over 500,000 is pretty much buried. People aren't going to go through 20 pages of listings of books to find your book.
Oh yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's funny because whenever I go on Amazon and want to buy a book or something, I always look down to the rank. You're right about the ranking, because I'll look down to the ranking, then I'll look at the reviews. But I see the ranking, and if it shows, like let's say number one in this category for this category and this category, and then it's like, okay, this book must be good because it's ranked number 4 or 5 in this category. But there may be only so many books in that category. So really, I mean, to be honest, I mean, what I've seen is like almost anyone is able to be like a bestseller these days for at least one point in time. Um, have you ever reached any bestseller status or anything?
I've
By
never
any
reached
chance?
I've never reached the best-selling status. The best I did was maybe number 4 or number 3 in free books, and there's a difference there too. I watched a video on YouTube about that, and it
Mm-hmm.
was done by someone called Ugly Mug Marketing, and he wanted to show that you could use Facebook Power Editor, and you could get your free book to number 1 in your genre. And you're right about that fact. It is very genre specific, and
Oh
different
yeah.
genres are easier to rank, higher in the rank, like better in the rankings. Anyhow, the distinguishing thing about free and paid books, you can get to number 1 in free, but the day that you put your book back on for 99 cents, you'll go back in the rankings to 150, 200,000, and you'll start there. So it really doesn't make any difference. And I've also noticed that there are people on Amazon, I think personally, who will buy uh, the uh, the Kindle. It's called
Unlimited.
KDP, Kindle Select, and then
Oh.
they will go, and I can get 4,000 downloads in free books, but when I go back to sales, it's still 1 or 2 every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there
Yeah.
are people that just buy or just go on just for the free books. And even at 99 cents, which is basically the lowest price point, and you're getting 30% royalty,
Amazon.
at that point, it's still really difficult to get to number 1. It's not an easy thing.
Hmm. But don't you get a lot of like exposure and people knowing your name through the free books? I mean, if you get 4,000 downloads on the free books, I mean that's still pretty good. I mean, isn't it? or?
I haven't seen a correlation there, and that was something that surprised me. I thought that, yeah, and honestly, I don't think that word of mouth really is something that it comes into effect with Amazon. People are isolated in their own home. They're reading the book, you know. Anyhow, I can say that I feel that my writing is good quality, and that you know, for one of my books, I had 55, 60 5-star reviews, and some people even said that the book should be on the New York the New York bestsellers list.
What's the name of the book?
It is called Americano in the Philippines. It's a romantic suspense novel.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna after later on, I'm actually gonna get off topic, compile all of your books, and I'm actually gonna surround it around the video on our page because I mean we always want to try to help the authors, help advertise for them and stuff, and anything we can do can really help. So I mean these sort of things like this video right here, like especially if anybody's watching and wants an interview like this and has a topic that they'd like to talk about. Whenever we do that, we'll actually advertise your books for you as well. Just something a little off topic that I felt I'd mention. But so tell me, so what exactly should we do about like marketing as far as that is concerned? Because you said you were not very the good in the whole marketing aspect, but what advice would you have for like maybe an author starting out or someone who also struggles in marketing, especially
Well,
like on Amazon and stuff?
I would say that maybe lower your expectations. I figured that maybe within 6 months or a year, I would be rolling along and living off the earnings from Amazon royalties. And I see now that it's more likely going to be a 5 or a 10-year process. But the advice I would have is just keep hammering away at it. I would say that, stick with the free, anything that is free. I've tried most of the paid promotions out there, and they don't have much effect on they did not have much effect on my sales. The free promotion, the Facebook groups, keep plugging away at those. Try and get linked up with 50 or 60 Facebook groups. Try and get as many Twitter followers as you can. One thing that I've done to did help sales a little bit, I ran a promotion where I offered a free Kindle Fire. And basically, if you left a review for my book, then I would take all those reviews at the end of the month and put them in a hat and draw a random winner. And that helped a little bit. So I ran that promotion. I tried that. I did I did some email marketing as well, where I sent out, I think it was 50,000 emails. I was fortunate to have a friend that basically lent me his email list from his company, and that was also quite disappointing. I think I sold maybe 5 or 10 books out of that entire sending out all those emails. I used an email server that sent out a mass email with the promotion, and 5 or 10 books sold. A little bit frustrating, a little bit disappointing, and I've had to lower my expectations and my timeline. I've had to change my timeline.
Interesting.
I don't want to be negative about it. I really enjoy.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, we want these reality checks. We don't want like a new writer or author or whatever publishing on Amazon thinking they're going to be rolling in dough by next year or whatever, and then are completely discouraged and disappointed. And for the longest time, when I first started writing back in 2000, well, I mean, I've always been writing since I was really young, but I got serious about it in 2009. And I wrote my first manuscript after 5 attempts. That was about 251,000 words. When I just graduated, right before I started my senior high school. I haven't published any of my books yet because I've been trying to just work on my craft, my structure, my style, just trying to perfect me as an author before I put my name out there because I want to be taken seriously. But I just I feel like actually my first book is going to be published this year, so I'm happy about that. And
Great.
I've been working on some screenplays, been working on with other writers, been doing casting calls. I mean the website, and everything that we do is trying to help people in the entertainment arts business. And one of the very the centralized components of what we focus on are for writers. So it's just definitely something to think about. Your marketing strategy and your marketing plan, and how you're going to go about and reach your readers. So a lot of why we do this website and this business is so that I want to help every access, but I did also think of a good marketing strategy where we're bringing all of this traffic so that once I do get my books published, my personal marketing strategy has been I'll have all this traffic already coming to my website, and I'll be able to promote my books and probably have no problem selling them. So so that's one of the things I think that you can also benefit from is maybe start a blog. I have a very good blueprint I use for my blog and how I've been building all this traffic in the course of the last couple of weeks. But I think that I think a blog is actually more effective than a lot of people realize as well. Um,
Actually, I do have a blog. I have a website. My
hmm
website is robertbenjaminmccrab.com,
uh,
and I have a blog on there, and I also write for various article publishers online. E.2 articles is one of them, and I've found that I've gotten some exposure that way. But I think that
huh.
your approach that you were mentioning, where you build that the base of the pyramid with exposure, and you build an email list, you build contacts first, and
Yeah.
then you put your writing out there. I think that could be more effective than the way I did it, which was just basically putting my writing out without having any of that promotion done beforehand.
Yeah, I've been doing things a lot backwards. I started my marketing first, and then I'm gonna have my books published because I think that not I didn't do that on purpose. It just kind of fell into that way. So to be honest, I've looked up a lot of different like blueprints and blogs and just the ones who are the most successful out there. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. His name is John Chow, and John Chow is the top internet marketer online. And I have his personal blueprint on how he ended up making about $40,000 a month on his blog. He makes a lot more now, but that was just when he started a blog, or whatever. I have his actual blueprint. I've been following. I had to stop it for a little while because mine is a lot more complex than a blog. But I'm hoping that not saying that it's going to make like 40,000 a month or anything, but I do know that it is his personal blueprint on how he made so much money blogging, and I feel that can be a very effective like tool. But blogging, from what I've learned, if you can do it right, you can reach a lot of people. Because that goes to all your social networks as well, and all your contacts and stuff. And there's just unlimited ways to. I've been doing a lot of research on marketing and advertising, and there's a lot more ways than a lot of people realize on how you can reach your audience. And I'm still learning it all myself, of course, but but I think that you gotta explore all of your different avenues. It's blogging and social media, and whenever you do get into blogging, you need to also try to guest post on other people's blogs, because what I learned is you got to put yourself where people are already going. Where people are already going is where you need to be. If you start something from scratch, you're not gonna, you're not gonna, you don't have the audience yet. So you need to be over here where, Joe Schmoes already has 20,000 followers. Try to, see if you can, if you create your own blog first, have your own content, and then get people with other blogs and try to get in their platform. If you can get in other people's platform, then you're good. You're good to go. It's bringing a lot more people to your site and whatever. And that's what a lot of authors need. They need a website. They need a website They can't just write books and publish them and have no platform where their books are, or have, no game plan. And like for instance, here's one of my plans is I'm gonna try. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm gonna try to get an interview with Neil Setti from The Jungle Book. He was the main character in The Jungle Book. And I think I might be able to get that interview because he's this first project. He's getting all this attention, all this fame, or whatever. And a lot of the time, whenever a celebrity, first breaks out there, they accept every opportunity that comes their way. And he actually liked a couple of my stuff on Twitter. And he interacts with his fans, and shares a bunch of stuff. So if I can get an interview with Neil Setti from The Jungle Book, then that would mean that I would have that published on our site, and then he'll know about it, and he'll share it on his stuff. And he's already got tens of thousands of followers on his stuff, and so I'm gathering where the audience is already at. But I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I do know that he interacts with his fans, does interviews, and he shares and likes stuff. So I think I'm able to do it before he gets too famous.
I can understand. That's a great way. In a sense, what you're going to do is you're going to piggyback off of his fame, which is great. I mean, if you can open that door, who knows where you can go with that? That would be something. Kudos to you for that. If you can do that, that's great.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And of course, I've thought of the same thing where if I could only contact. I know that, like, let's say for instance, in my hometown where I grew up, Justin Bieber, he grew up there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah. What about that?
Yeah, well, I've thought of things like that, and I'm working on that. But I guess the point is, I've noticed on on YouTube that there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and they seem to be doing quite well, but they make a lot of claims. And I think there needs to be a disclaimer there that they're selling courses, basically, that, like you said, like a blueprint to put out a book a week and to end up earning, $5, $10, $40,000 a month. The only thing about it is that, they're trying to sell their courses. I'm not going to mention any specifically. And so it's in their best interest to maybe hype their sales up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think also in the last 2 years, 3 years, I think Amazon was a much more profitable venture 3 years ago than it is today. I think it's become saturated.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be negative about it. The thing is that for me, the whole point is writing. I love writing, and I love writing good quality work. That's the side of it that really means something to me. And there's also something else that I've done with the book Americano in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines for a year, and I got to see the sex trade firsthand, basically through my wife. She was involved in that industry, and I got her out of it, and we went through some struggles. But the thing is, I started up a GoFundMe site, GoFundMe.com. And it's basically a charity where, if you want to look it up, it's basically Save Girls from Sexual Slavery. And the book that I have, Americano in the Philippines, is based partly on that topic. So they kind of link together. And so at the same time that I'm trying to write good quality work, I'm hoping that I can get something or build something out of my writing. I give a portion of all my revenue to that cause. And so I think I take a different approach. I don't really look at the business side of it. I'm not constantly thinking about sales and all that as much as I am about what my next book's going to be about, and where I'm going to go with that. And it's the creative process that I really enjoy the most.
Yeah, exactly. Many writers feel that way. Like, hold on a second. Why is there an echo over here? Anyway, yeah, many writers feel that the creative process is the writing. You're not trying to I mean, you want to sell books, of course, but if you're just in it for the money and trying to sell books or whatever, then you really shouldn't be in this industry, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if you're just in it for the money. It's just there's no like passion. You need to have passion with it. You know what I mean? And and
That's where I think it could be a good idea if you're a writer. And I tried this approach as well. I hired a promoter from the Philippines, and I paid the guy 150 bucks for 1 month, and
uh,
he did bring my ranking down, and it was effective and really quite affordable. So I might do that again, where I turn over the marketing to someone else, because when
yeah.
yeah, I find that the marketing side of it and thinking about sales and all that, for me, it pollutes the creative process. They get intertwined, and so you're thinking about a book. I want to write a book that's going to sell well, and for me,
Oh yeah.
that's not the goal. In the end, for me, the goal is I want to be, looking at 20 years from now, and what people are going to be saying about the books that I've put out there. Like F. Scott Fitzgerald or Ernest Hemingway. Uh, you know, they didn't write for sales. They wrote, well, I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald, he wrote musically. He wrote beautiful literature, and he didn't really see any profit from that in the long term. He died at 40 years old, basically, or 44 years old. And then, today his book is still selling really, really well.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's what I look at. That's success to me. That is the ultimate success.
Mhm. The thing is, if you focus on the story, the writing, you're trying to write something that's really gonna touch the lives of many people out there, and you're just writing for yourself, the reader, all that stuff, then you're gonna sell. It's I mean, and even if you don't, you still shouldn't let that stop you. Like I feel like what I learned in James Patterson's class and how I've actually been thinking for the longest time is you got to think like a number one bestseller. That's how you got to do it. I mean, if you want to, I mean, he teaches you how to sell books and how to become how to become a bestseller. Um, I mean, I went through the whole class, but um, by thinking like a bestseller, you got to like whenever you have your ideas, you got to think, in a streamlined process of like the most hooking one liner, most hooking paragraph, most hooking page, and you know, write in a way that really entertains yourself. Because if you can entertain yourself, then odds are you're going to entertain other people. I mean, I know this is probably another subject for another time, but
Yeah.
you can start with backstory, but you can't start with you can't start with like a dream. You can't start with stuff that's like a bunch of filler. I mean, you can. I mean, if you want to, but I like to start straight up action. Straight up like I mean, not like super action like gunfights and stuff, but I mean like something that's really going to capture their attention and then keep them reading. That's like I'm sure you already know this, Robert, of course, but I mean,
Actually, I did that in my book, Americano in the Philippines. I put in a teaser where basically I gave a snapshot of the action that is basically in the middle of the book. So in that way, it was a hook, and it was a good hook.
exactly. That's what you want to do. I mean, a lot of the time, like what I've read in, I mean, R.L. Stein. I mean, I know it's like children's books and stuff. I loved R.L. Stein when I was a kid, though. But what he did a lot of the time is he would take a section of from the middle of the book and put it at the beginning, and then it's like it would be that chapter or whatever. Then it start, then it like the next chapter would be where it would actually start. Clive Barker did that in Hellbound Heart. Loved that book. That was like if you might know this, but I don't know if other people would know this, but it's the origination of Hellraiser, and he did that. He took a part in the book and had it at the beginning, really capture attention, and then he'd start at the beginning. That's a really effective way to do things too. You
Yeah,
know,
I've seen that used in many books.
what was that part?
I've seen that used in many books. I think it works well. It's a good way to hook the reader.
Mm-hmm.
After that point, for me, I like to go deep into the character's back
Yeah,
history, and I like to build the character so that it's like you feel like you know them personally.
it's a good way to do things. It's like with me personally, like whenever I start a book, if it starts too slow, I'm like, forget about this. But if they have something really hooking at the beginning and then it slows down, I can deal with that because they got my attention. And then you want to know how that happened. You know, how did you lead up to that? So then you can slow things down. If you can effectively create a hook, then you can slow things down. That's just, it's one of the ways to, you can really, that this is all goes down to the whole, the whole selling too. If you can get all these components and make sure everything is good on the outside, cover art, editing, all that good stuff. I mean, then you're already halfway done with the battle. All you need to do is just find effective marketing, and marketing is one of the hardest things, one of the most things that people struggle with, like as authors. Marketing is like the biggest thing that people are struggling with these days.
I'm at the point now where actually, like, I'm getting ready to traditionally publish this book, so I'm kind of on the next on to the next challenge.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm going to see where that process takes me. I've heard lots of things about it, and it,
Traditional publishing.
traditional publishing, and I've heard lots of I've read lots of information. They're struggling, and they're the mom and pop bookstores they're closing down right, left, and center, and like I said, 40 books for one hardcover book sold. But
yeah,
for me,
sorry, go on.
For me, I think I've even thought about, like, when I get that hardcover book in my hands, I will take that book and I will sell it. I worked as a salesman for 4 years, and I could sell anything to anyone, and I'll take that book door to door if I have to. And I'll just knock on doors and whatever it takes, and just one small step at a time, trying to get it out there. About the writing process, I think that what it is there's a craft to writing that it's important that you learn and know. So the course that you took with James Patterson is a really good thing to do. Once you get that process down, then it comes into a point where it's called creative variation, where you start to make it your own and your own style. And that's really where I'm at now. I'm trying different things. There's a book I'm writing actually where the book will be 100% dialogue, no tags, no action, nothing, just 100% dialogue, a conversation between two individuals. And I want to try that just for trying something new. And actually, it's been done well. It's been done well in the past by various different authors, and they have it's actually a genre, but it's a very small niche genre, but it's something that I want to try. So that's that creative variation where that keeps me excited, it keeps me interested, it keeps me wanting to write more. And yeah, so you learn the craft, and then you perfect the craft, and then you make it your own.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again,
sorry, go on.
One last thing. Then again, that's one approach. There's the other approach that I know it exists on Amazon. It's the entrepreneur approach, where you basically do niche research. You look for the good niche. You find that niche. You make a short, small book in that niche. You don't bother editing it. You don't bother even proofreading it. Really, it's just you sell it for 99 cents, and you try to get to number 10 in your category, and then you do that. And you repeat. It's like a sausage machine. They're just putting them out one a week, and that's fine.
I'm thinking about actually creating a pen name and doing that.
I thought about that myself. I thought about having a ghostwriter. Having a ghostwriter from the Philippines write a book and putting it out there. But and the other thing I will say quickly is that I actually considered writing. I did write a book in what's the word? Like sex, basically. I can't think of the word. It's basically like on Amazon. There's a specific genre where it's basically just titillating sexual content.
Erotica. Erotica.
Erotica, yes. So I wrote an erotica book and thought about publishing it, but decided at the, hey, maybe this will be a moneymaker, right? And then, but I thought about it and decided, no, that's not for me. I don't want my name to be associated with anything like that.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about. I was thinking about actually writing under a pen name for that too. Like, I mean, because that's one of the biggest sellers. Why?
Yeah,
One of the biggest sellers?
there you go.
Huh?
Exactly.
It sucks though because it's like it goes right back to what you said at the beginning. How the quality of work on Amazon is just saturated with all this crap because it sells. That's the problem. Is that a lot of the crap actually sells, and so you have something legit and good, and you're screwed as an author because you have morals. you know, I mean, not that really.
I
Huh?
think I think what it is there's a short-term approach and a long-term approach. I don't think you're screwed as an author if you put out good quality work. If you can dress up a book. That's how they do it too. They a really titillating cover, interesting, high, energy cover, and a good book blur,
Yeah.
and you can, and then that's it. Someone buys it for 99 cents, and they'll never ask for a refund.
Yeah.
So
I didn't mean like, you're screwed as an author. What I meant by that is that when you publish it in the pool of crap, you're screwed as an author because there's all this crap around just the good book, is what I meant. It's like you have all this like saturated work around the one that's actually good quality, and you just can't tell which one is the good quality. So you have to do your own. You really have to do your own marketing and your own like research on getting your stuff out there so that you can stand out in the crowd. That's what it boils down to. It boils down to standing out in the crowd. You can't just write good quality work, publish it, and not do any marketing. Because if you do that, then you're just gonna kind of, you're just gonna be another book in the pool. And you gotta really like, you know, work on the marketing. The marketing is one of the biggest parts of this whole thing.
I
Not
understand.
everyone can do it. Yeah. Not
That's
everyone can just like. I'm sorry. Go on.
well, that's the distinction I think between, if you treat your writing like a business, or if you treat your writing like a profession, or a passion. There's maybe two different approaches, and as well there could be the third where you mix both together. You know, that can happen as well. So there's everything and anything on Amazon. It's like the internet. It opened up a whole new channel for people. It
Mm-hmm.
opened the doors for people to put anything out there, and that's free speech. That's a good thing. Uh,
That is a good thing.
that has to be a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm all for free speech, and I'm all for free access to everything and anything. And
Yeah.
write what you want, and that's a good thing. So, like, as I say, I think Amazon. I think that it's going through changes. I think they could make some changes to their policies. I think maybe
Mm-hmm.
they could take on some editors and possibly root through all the books that come in, and actually
Yeah.
distinguish a little bit.
See, they're not thinking about it from a quality perspective a lot of the time because they really need to have books edited prior to publication. Make sure that cover art is of quality, rather than just like let anything just go out on there. They're thinking of just the money, really. They're not really thinking about the quality and how it affects, the individuals. And I mean, it's just, that's what I think. I mean, I
Amazon
think that. Hmm?
Amazon is all about sales. That's it. Money, that's what they're thinking
Yeah.
about. If your book sells well, they will start to promote it. They will start to put it on their bestseller pages, and they will start to send it out in emails to people, and they'll help you promote your book. They're all about the bottom line. And of course, any publisher is going to be like that. That's just that they're the business side of it. Yeah. So I think Amazon is totally about sales.
Pretty much. All right. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, bottom line is, you just got to really. I mean, you just got to do things. I mean, the right way. To be honest, you don't want to just, publish your books on Amazon and then just expect like, results. I mean, the whole bottom line is, marketing is a very important, component of this whole thing. And I'm that's it for me. I mean, I don't really have any more final thoughts, to be honest.
I have a couple more quick final thoughts, just a couple
Okay.
things that I had thought
Yeah,
about.
let's just summarize this whole thing. Go on.
There are some things out there that you can do that are maybe a little bit shady, where you can buy reviews. I wouldn't recommend that. Basically, they'll get rejected, and they won't be very good quality reviews. There's another thing you can do. It's called free book promotion. .com, basically, where you can guarantee 5,000 free downloads in a day, 10,000 free downloads in a day, and you pay 180 bucks American for that. I wouldn't recommend that either. It didn't. I tried it once on one of my books, and it really didn't have any flow through when it came to sales. I just think that it's like climbing a mountain. You take one step at a time. You write one book at a time. You do your very best. When it comes to editing as well, editing can be expensive. If you want, like for my book that was 75,000 words, I paid $1,000 to have it edited properly and well. And that's how I got my in with the traditional publishers. So, you can't do that for every book on Amazon, because you'll end up putting out more than you take in. But so those are some final thoughts. I think Amazon is a good thing. I'm happy it's there. I'm thankful for it. It opens up the whole world of writing to a whole new paradigm spectrum. It's a good thing.
Yeah. You know what? Just my final thought too. To kind of go off of what you said about, you'll end up pushing out more than you're taking in. See, one of the things of why I am so involved in business is so that I can create a business so that that's my main income, generator. So that I'll be able to write full time and publish my books and spend as many amounts of money on marketing as I want, because it's not about the money with my books. That's the thing. The thing is, it's not about the money with my books, but I do also want to be able to write full time. And so I thought business was the best way to kind of do that on my own, because then that would give me the freedom that I am searching for. So that once the money starts, a lot of money starts rolling in with, ECM network and, all of our business ventures, the plan is to, start being able to just write full time while I have a full staff of employees, working on the business, and everybody's making money in the process. And then I'll be able to put out my books and market for as much as I want to, and get it all out there. And money is not a factor when it comes to my writing. I want the best for my writing, the best for my books. I don't want I don't want crappy cover art that costed $50, or crappy editing that costs $100 or something. And I just I want to be able to write full time, but a lot of people don't have that luxury of doing that. And a lot of people say it's not about the money, but really you need to have an income, a living, sustaining income. And I mean,
I'm actually fortunate in that sense. I have a residual income that comes in every month, and it's nominal. It's just enough to cover my expenses and my food. I actually live with my mother right now, and when I go back to the Philippines, I live on about $1,000 a month. So I mean, I have that residual income. So I guess I have the opportunity then to really care about what I write, and I'm thankful for that.
exactly.
I think of Ernest Hemingway when he first started writing. I mean, he married a rich woman, and they went to France and hung out with all the writers of the day, and but he was funded. So that's the thing about it. Money is freedom, and you need a certain amount of money to live. It's the hierarchy of needs. It's very simple. So I see what you're doing. You're trying to cover your need, so that you have the free time and the free will to do what you want with your writing. I understand that 100%.
And marketing it, like, see, I don't care if I'm spending more than I'm actually making with my books. The point isn't of making all the money with my books. The point is to get that image everywhere. I'm trying to, because in the beginning you're not going to make money. I mean, you might make a little bit, but in the beginning with any venture, it's hard to really make a lot of money. You have to do a lot more marketing and a lot more, getting yourself out there than you're actually making at the moment. And see, the point is, you want to get, try to, collect. I mean, like Pokemon, you want to collect them all. You want to try to, get all those followers. Like you have all those 5,000 Twitter followers, 5,000 friends, all that stuff. I mean, I know that might not have, been as effective as you had hoped, but it's still, it's still a step forward. It's still a lot more than a lot of other people can say about, their ventures. A lot of people haven't really made like anything, with the writing yet. And I think it's they don't have the. I think it's just they don't have the tools. They don't have the experience. No one to really show them the way. They just see this opportunity on CreateSpace. Hey, I can publish my book, in like 10 minutes, and they just, they don't look into what they really need to do. So that's just,
Well, that's another thing. There's such a thing as a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll take it off your hands. They'll promote that book. If you've got the money, they'll promote the book everywhere, and they know how to do it. They know everything. That's something I've thought about doing as well. Is hiring a publicist, and I may do that. But right now, okay. So I just wanted to say one last thing. When I started out with Amazon in the very beginning, I spent 12 hours a day promoting. I literally sat at my computer and promoted like crazy. And the time was time partly wasted, in my opinion. I didn't see the results that I hoped for. Like I say, I don't want to be negative, but I know what you mean. Right. But now at this point, honestly, I've gotten more back to my integrity as a writer, and I'm writing the second book in the trilogy of Americano in the Philippines. And what I get is I get emails from people that say, hey, this book really touched me. This book was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I read it one night. I skipped meals because I enjoyed it so much. That's gratification, that to me, that is worth more than money. So I don't know. I know. I guess the last thing I will say is I don't really want to be rich. I don't really want to be famous. I just want to be happy, sort of my needs covered and my creative urges, having an outlet for that, happy with my wife and living a good life, and hopefully maybe helping others in some way that, those things are important to me. That's more important than getting rich. So, but I say I don't judge anyone on Amazon who wants to go on there and use it and make it work, make it like a business, and really promote and sell and get rich off of it. Good for them. I'm glad for them. And I just, it's different approaches, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all that that you came on, Robert. This was a very great experience. I think we ran about an hour on this, but it was definitely definitely a lot of information. Definitely covered a lot. And I enjoyed this second episode for Talking Entertainment. I mean,
me as well.
Huh?
Me as well. I've enjoyed it very much. Stimulating conversation.
Yeah, I know. Definitely a lot to think about. So anyway, I think we're good to go here.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on again, Robert, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you for your time, Devin, and have a great day.
All right. Thank you too, sir. Bye.
Okay.